What's up, people? Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. It's been a fun week in the league, some makeup games to get to. If you are a Newcastle United fan, go ahead and smash that like button. Get the subscription on and the notification bell on so you can hear about all these 5 goals that Newcastle have scored against West Ham United. Did you guys see some of the pictures of David Moyes on the sideline?
Did not.
Oh my God. It looked bad. There was one where I don't know if it was the 4th goal or the 5th goal, the 3rd goal, who knows. He had his hands on his knees and he would look like he was winded. Like
That's because that man was worried about his job. He's like,
to your head at 4-1 and your hands on your knees just. You guys are making me tired.
I know we were bad, but man, I didn't know we were this bad.
They got run absolutely ragged. I enjoyed it though. Like Newcastle, it seemed almost out of nowhere, right? Because they had like a longer slump than you would have expected.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, they have a blinding performance versus United. And then this.
And then smashed West Ham.
Smashed West Ham.
Yeah, dude. It just goes to show Newcastle have been kind of that, I hate to say it like this, but that dark horse for these top 4 spots kind of from
they're
the
in
rip
third
of this
now.
season. And they are one to be contended with. They had a huge buyout at the beginning of the season. They have a huge coffer to draw from now. Newcastle aren't going to be pushed around as much as we used to see in previous seasons. Like they're here. They're going to be competitive. They're going to be top 4 material. And, these last 2 games really showed like West Ham wasn't too far off a couple seasons ago from competing in the same spot Newcastle
they're
are
still
right now.
In Europa. They're still in the Conference League.
Right. So it just goes to show how far Newcastle have really grown over the course of just even this season with the new owner buyout. But no, they're here. That proves they're here. The United game showed it. This kind of solidified it. They went goal. Oh, we can't score goals. We're goalless, or we only win games 1-0. Nobody can score on us. Nah, they had fun with it. Easy day, as we like to say. It was just an easy day. They had an easy day.
Did you enjoy it as much as I did, Patrick?
It was comical at times at how bad the defending was for West Ham. I saw the last 3 goals, I think it was.
They were all like that, just so you know. The first 2 were like that too. Horror show from the defenders.
That 4th one, what is Fabianski doing? What are you doing, dude? Like, what?
Yeah, I normally like claiming old Arsenal players. Most Arsenal players that moved on and do good, I'm like, yeah, that's an old Arsenal player. I didn't want to say anything for that one.
That said, so I didn't get to watch the United game, but I was listening to a call-in show afterwards, and they were talking about Eddie Howe and how he has cultivated this team with players that, he's even getting something out of Anthony Gordon now.
Yeah.
And
no one had ever to do that.
Yeah. And how he's created this team and how he's gotten it built together, and they're strong defensively. They're finally finding again, that they can score, and that Bruno Guimaraes is just a beast in the midfield. And he stirs that whole, the whole drink and everything.
I like that.
Well, he does. It's really. When I've watched, he's been incredible. I think though that Newcastle is starting to hit their stride in their run in. I am interested to see though, because I know that they've got Brentford this weekend on the road, and that was one
Spicy.
thing that was interesting to see. How do they handle road matchups against teams that are close to them in talent? I'm not saying Brentford and Newcastle are even, because I think Newcastle is just a little bit better, but
Yeah.
that
Right.
equalizer being on the road. Can this Newcastle team actually go and win it? Or are they going to drop points and take a draw? Or are they going to lose straight up?
Yeah.
So I was impressed by the Newcastle performance against West Ham, because I had them winning 2-1. Of course, they went 5-1. But I'm also like, it's kind of West Ham in the sense of it's West Ham. But you can't take away 5 goals. You can't take away 5 goals. And I think that they're a good team. They're a really good team. And if it wasn't for what Arteta's doing, I think Eddie Howe wins Manager of the Year. But Arteta's just that far ahead right now.
That may be a whole nother discussion, but Pep is in there as well. He's dealt with a lot this season, but I definitely agree. I think that Newcastle were almost like a light switch, where they've just turned it back on, and they've been playing the same that we knew they could since the beginning of the season. They went on that run of 37 draws back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And so that's why I agree with you that there's the potential away to Brentford for a 1-1 0-0 kind of game, but we'll definitely get to that. I think that with Bruno Guimaraes running stuff, I mean, I'm almost willing to say, and this will be a perfect segue. I'm almost willing to say that Newcastle are shoo-in for third, because Manchester United, who did get a nice win over Brentford 1-0 at Old Trafford, where the performance level was actually higher than has been, especially without Casemiro. But I think that United are going to drop off.
Yeah.
Definitely because, or one of the main reasons will be Casemiro's out for another 3 games. But I think United fans will be encouraged by a lot of things in this game versus Brentford. First of all, Brentford are no pushover, as you've just mentioned, Patrick. Secondly, their away kit is wild, which goes back to what I was saying about the kit man running crazy this season. But in that first half, United were like, and it just pains me to say it. It just pains me to say it. But you look at the way Eric Sevenhag set up his team, and it was Sancho on the left, Rashford down the middle, and the bum on the Anthony on the right. It was McTominay, Sabitzer, and Bruno in the midfield, and they kept the ball. They had the ball the whole first half. Like, they did not. There were no stray passes like against Newcastle. And Brentford, Brentford press at times. They have a high press that, they're strong press. It's intelligent. They have cover when they press. And so Brentford didn't get a sniff. They could not hang on to the ball. And it wasn't because they were being sloppy. It was just United in possession were really, really sharp. But they couldn't score. They got the goal, but they really, maybe it was a credit to Brentford standing tall and making it really tough when they got down to the final third. But I thought that United really, they could have finished the game earlier. But in the second half, Brentford upped the levels. Definitely did. And the game was even that entire second half. It could have gone either way. And I think that is the evidence I will cite to say that United they're gonna fight. They're gonna have to fight for fourth. They're definitely gonna have to fight for fourth.
It would be wonderful to see them not get that and us in 5th, 6th. Like us.
That's what it would have to be. It would
have
have to be something like that. It would have to be something like that where Chelsea or Liverpool, or maybe even Brentford or Fulham make a wild run at the end of the season. Hopefully it's not Spurs.
Yep.
We're still in there as well.
No,
But
Spurs are going to go down, down.
I
down,
agree.
down.
I agree completely with that. But I think that if United can, and again, it must be said, Old Trafford.
Yeah.
The game was at home for United, and they tend to up the levels at Old Trafford. Bruno did Bruno things. He was the same old Bruno, I think, but it's encouraging. There was some encouraging signs. I think the most encouraging part about it is Ten Hag recognizing that Weghorst is not doing it.
Is not doing it. I said that if he was in the game,
I think Brentford gets something if Weghorst was in the game.
Yeah.
Rashford looked good right down the middle. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we think that they'll take confidence from this and march on, kind of press on? They do have Everton at the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they'll stumble through that one as well, and then probably
it's at Old Trafford. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll stumble through that one and then be like, "Oh, Manchester are back in the, we're gonna win 3 trophies. We're gonna win 4 trophies." Like, no, like.
Yeah, they're 22 points back.
Yeah, they're 22 points back. Sorry, the quad's over with.
That's long gone. Yeah, that's long gone.
Not to them, though. Not to them.
Yeah. If you still believe in the quad, smash the like button at least 4 times. Subscribe to the channel. Get the notification bell on so we can tell you all about how Everton beat you next time out.